so sweet like some honey. Tasting my chocolate chip cookie. I need an aspirin, no rookie. Yeah. Cocoa bones, bones. Cocoa bones, bones. All about money. So sweet like some honey. Tasting my chocolate chip cookie. Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's your girl Taj, aka Cocoa Bone, coming at you with another reaction video, hunty. Yes, honey. So tonight's reaction is going to be to The Truth Is. Shout out to my nigga, The Truth Is. And we're going to be reacting to the sinister reason lab-grown chicken was approved for sale, okay? I found this topic extremely interesting because I decided to become vegetarian recently. I have cut out all kinds of meat, including bacon, which is a heartbreaker, you know, because I love bacon so much. It's so good. But if I do eat meat, at this point, I only go to, you know, actually like butcher's market, where if I don't see no dead cow, no dead pig, no dead, chicken, then I don't want the meat. Because at this point, lab grown meat, that sounds disgusting. I don't want no chemicalized having ass meat. If it ain't from the real animal, I don't want to eat it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I don't want to talk too much. Let me get my screen recorder set up. And without further ado, let's get into this reaction, shall we?
Hey guys, I hope all is well. Welcome back to the Truth Talk podcast. I'm back here with Taco.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the lab-grown chicken story. But before we begin, I just wanted to remind you guys to subscribe to the second channel, Truth Network. Taco's working on a new episode for his new series called Taco's Piece that will be dropping shortly. And I also have a new series dropping on the second channel called 2 Minute Truths. So make sure you subscribe to Truth Network now so you don't miss any truth content. Let's get right into it. Food is one of the most valuable resources in the world that's crucial for our survival. We all need to eat food to survive and live healthy lives. It is the fuel that keeps our bodies going. We literally are what we eat. If we eat healthy, nutritious food, we feel healthy. But if we eat unhealthy food, that's exactly how we're going to feel. So you guys can understand why it's a tremendous issue that the quality of our food has been diminished. Way back then, before all the greed took over, people ate fresh organic food they can buy from their local farmers and butchers, where you knew exactly what you were getting. Fast forward to 2023, you no longer know what food is real or made in a lab. For years now, food manufacturers have chosen to sacrifice the consumer's health for increased profits. As time goes by, we see more and more foods loaded with artificial coloring and flavors, while the vegetable aisles in supermarkets appear to shrink smaller and smaller. They have been rapidly replacing our real food with lab-made experiments, and sadly, the masses either don't seem to notice or care. Recently, it was reported in the news that the USDA has approved the sale of synthetic lab-grown chicken. The company Upside Foods from California is one of the main advocates pushing this lab-grown chicken product. Upside Foods started in 2015, and they claim to be a food technology company that has backing from no other than Bill Gates. This is actually alarming when you realize just what Bill Gates has been doing. For the last few years, Bill Gates, one of the richest men in the world, has been going around buying up all the farmland. Currently, right now, he owns an estimated 270,000 acres of farmland, which is literally a substantial amount of farmland in the whole US. This is abnormal for a tech giant to be this invested in farming. So why is Bill Gates buying up all of this farmland all of a sudden? Well, it could directly be connected to the fact that he's a big investor in a company pushing synthetic meats. It is strange that after 2020, America has been facing all types of food shortages, all while Gates is buying up all of the farmland. Something is definitely going on here.
Yeah, that's
There's a
fucking
reason
weird.
they're pushing this
That means he's trying to control all the real vegetables and fruits.
We have no idea what we're eating if we're eating chicken made in a laboratory. Bill Gates has been behind a lot of questionable initiatives, and it shows he is definitely one of those elites obsessed with world domination. I've spoken about Bill Gates in the past, but the video actually got taken down due to YouTube's guidelines. So if you guys actually want to see an updated Bill Gates video, comment Bill Gates below, and I'll make sure to do it after this one. You cannot deny that this is intriguing, especially when you realize that Bill Gates has this obsession with controlling the population. He also has this big brother mindset where he feels like he has to make decisions for the greater good of the world without really asking the rest of the world.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And we can look at some of his philanthropy and some of the places where he does it. And he tends to give in places where people don't ask very many questions, or where politicians and where leaders can be easily corrupted with money, in my opinion. And we all know that he has a lot of that. It kind of seems like he gets off on like playing a miniature god role, it seems like, when he goes to these places and puts his name all over buildings.
Yeah, you know, same thing with Donald Trump. It's like they have this obsession with being worshipped and being seen, like you said, like a god. And it's interesting to see that he's behind this lab-grown meat, because he's the same person that a lot of people feel that would do something like this, would push towards controlling what even people put in their body, you know? And the way he's spinning.
It don't even look real. It looks nasty.
On all the good stuff, like this stuff and that stuff.
He's trying to spin it.
Then you got the weirdos that tried it
as it's a positive thing.
Yeah.
But in reality, these are the plans.
Tastes like the real thing.
They have to control the population. They have to determine what we put in ourselves, because if they can give us foods that are unhealthy for us, they can give us foods that are going to make us unproductive and not allow us to have clear minds. It's easier for them to control. It's easier for them to dangle things in front of us and guide us in certain directions that they want. And this is exactly what they're doing. We have to remember, we are the majority. They're the minority.
We are, yes. I say that all the time.
The only thing that keeps the balance is this manipulation, this game of manipulation that they play. That's the truth within it. And what's also caught my attention is it all happened while the submarine was underwater and all this other drama was going on, that nobody really said anything about it or made a big deal. But think about it now. You can go to a restaurant, they might put it in there, but you might not even be looking at the menu like that. Just pick an item, and that item, that food that you're eating, could have been made in a lab. It sounds like a plot out of a Twilight Zone. You know, it just doesn't make any sense.
I can't believe this is real life right now.
And just the other day, the first official sale for lab-grown meat was made. The company that's at the forefront of this movement is called Upside Food. And they've been doing this for a while now. And like you mentioned, they have some pretty prominent investors. One of the main ones being Bill Gates. Some of the other prominent investors that are investing in Upside Foods, you got Kimball Musk, which is Elon Musk's brother. You got Richard Branson. And one that really caught my eye, Tyson Foods. We all know the organization Tyson Foods, one of the biggest meat producers and processors in the United States. Last time I checked, I believe they produce 20% of meat that's sold in the United States and consumed. It really piques my interest to see Tyson Foods on the investor list for Upside Foods, because they're the biggest producer of meat. And you'd think this would be a competitor to them, but no, they're investing, and they're investing early in tons of money. And last time I checked, I think Tyson Foods makes like upwards of $40 billion a year in revenue just from the food that they sell in the United States.
That is extremely interesting, because why would Tyson Chicken be invested in lab-grown chicken? Their whole business is selling real chicken. So why would they be invested in a company selling fake chicken? Because this is the agenda. If you guys remember the video I did a couple months back on the Illuminati card game, well, to no one's surprise, one of those cards that are a requirement for the New World Order is to control food. If you look at this card from the game, you can see that they're clearly indicating that they were going after our food as well. They're trying to get us in every way possible. But
they're trying to kill us slowly.
Important things, because we consume it, and it's what fuels our body. It's what helps our bodies run out 100%. So the fact that they're targeting our food, it's done for a reason. Like specifically, I used to watch Supernatural long ago, and there was this one episode of Supernatural where they showed that the demons in the show had set up a fast food restaurant, and the purpose of them setting up the restaurant was to feed people the food that was going to make them slow and dumb. This way they can go and literally sacrifice them. That was literally the plot of the Supernatural episode. So to think about that, they're now creating lab-grown meat, that we have no idea what they're going to do to our bodies, how our body's going to react to it, let's say in 5 years, what health effects it's going to have on us. They're letting us know that they're purposely trying to feed us the garbage that's going to take us out.
And I mean, we all need food to survive. The way our society is set up right now, we depend on the producers of food. Very, very few people these days grow their own food. They cultivate their own crops, farm their own animals. There are very, very few. We depend on a system that's heavily regulated. And the departments that are regulated aren't the most trustworthy if you look at the track records. I mean, looking at this company, Upside Foods, they got a letter from the Food and Drug Administration pretty much giving them the all is good. They call it a no questions asked letter, meaning they were good to go ahead and start mass producing this lab-created chicken. this is an organization that's created by the government that's supposed to have the best interest of the people. But then again, as I was looking, I couldn't find what's added to this chicken. I saw the process starts by taking some cells from a live animal and then adding something to it to help it cultivate and grow. But that's just the thing, what is being added. We all know something can't come from nothing. Something has to be added to get the final product, and that's what truly scares me. What's being added? What are we putting into our bodies? And as we know how these people operate, they do things that affect us in the long run. So we might not notice it today, we might not notice it tomorrow. But the long-term effects could be devastating. And like you said, this could be one of the things used to bring in that new world order.
You're making some very great points, especially like I've said this in the past. I believe that our food is being created to give us a fixed timeline of life, to give us a fixed age rate. You know, they want us to live to a certain age. When we get to that age, they no longer need us, so they no longer want us here. You know, in my eyes, they want us to live to 65, 70. So by the time you reach 65 years old, you have a bunch of health problems and you don't have that much time left on the world, and you don't become a burden.
They don't want us to live until 100.
If you're not working, if you're not
they want us to probably go at 50.
Then
it's just
you're
so
useless.
sad.
And this is the purpose for diminishing our food. They know if they feed us all this garbage, people aren't going to make it past that age. Once they reach 65, some of them might, but the majority won't. And they're looking forward to that. Because if you're not working, you're not making them any money, you're not doing anything for them, and at that point to them, you're just a waste. And that's how these billionaires think. So in my opinion, I look at this lab-grown chicken as another method of feeding us the stuff that's going to get us out of the way by the time we're 60 years old. And they're going to present it to us as this wonderful product that's going to eliminate having to eat animals and eliminate all the byproducts that come from chicken. But the thing is, what are we putting inside of us? These are the animals that God put here for us to eat. Why do we have to go make them in the lab when they literally reproduce on their own? We don't have to go and force them in the lab. They're doing this because they want to feed us this. This is what they know is going to have the effect that they want on us. And they spun it in a way that people can get behind it because it's for a positive reason. It's to save chicken. This is how they present it to the masses. They try to make it something that's going to benefit the public, and that's what they're doing here. But in reality, no one is asking the right questions when it comes to this. Why should we accept food that's made in the lab when we already know that artificial food, artificial flavoring, all that stuff that was already created in the lab has had negative effects on us and has caused several health problems for millions of people. Foods that have been approved by the FDA and the USDA. These foods that are still in shelves, stocked up, and people eat them every day. There's so many products that have GMOs in them, and people buy them and eat them every day, and they have no clue. Imagine now with lab-grown chicken and lab-grown beef, because they've also approved lab-grown meat back in 2022. So now you're going to go into your supermarket or to your local restaurant, and you're not going to know which one is which. Yeah, they might have a label on it, but knowing the way these people package these things, the lab-grown chicken is probably going to be the smallest thing on the label. So to make it easier for people to grab it and not even know. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets to a point where in the future, they're trying to eliminate meat that comes from real animals, eliminate chicken that comes from real chicken. I believe that's their goal at the end of the day.
Also, let's not forget, let's look at the past. Some of the foods when you and I were growing up, the things that were stocked on the shelves, the things that our parents bought and fed us with, foods that were heavily preserved. Because back then, organizations like the FDA decided that there was a problem with food spoiling. So they had scientists create a process to preserve foods more. Now, fast forward 30 years later, and we're seeing all the negative health effects of these preservatives that were fed to us. But before, this was revolutionary. This was state of the art. This was the greatest thing since sliced bread. But now we're seeing a complete 180. To me, this is just another one of those things. They're going to feed this to us and make us believe that this is the next best thing, that everyone has to have it. It's going to be all over the shelves, and we're going to consume it. And then fast later on, so you're going to see a complete 180 and say, we made a mistake, you know? But the damage will already be done.
Just like we've seen time and time again, you know, with a lot of products, there's a lot of things that they show us, oh, this is a good thing. Just for 10, 20, 30 years later, they're taking it back and class action lawsuit and this and this and that. But the damage is already done. Millions of people were affected. If I'm not mistaken, baby powder was one of those recent products that had a giant class action lawsuit. But what is a class action lawsuit going to do for the people that are gone, that literally are no longer here because they used that product? That class action lawsuit really doesn't bring them back. And that's the thing. Those that are producing these products, they know all of this before they make it. It's not like they don't know what they're putting in the product. They have scientists and chemists and all these type of people that it's their job to know what they're putting in there. They're just cutting corners and purposely putting things in there that is going to give them the result that they want. And we know exactly what they want. Like I said earlier, they want to build a nation of workers. They don't want a nation of leaders. They don't want a nation of independent thinkers. They want a nation of workers. So that's what they're creating.
Workers and
if they can dumb us down,
the minute you think for yourself and speak up for yourself, the whole world hates your ass. Trust me, I know.
Slow and dumb so that they can consume us. And that's exactly what's going on. They're consuming our time, they're consuming our energy, and they're using us up until there's nothing left.
We can all see the writing on the wall. We can see where this is going. This is just another step in that direction. But we as people, we have to make sure we stay informed. We have to make sure that we see this writing for what it is. And we take precautions to protect ourselves, to protect our loved ones. So we don't become another statistic 10 years from now, 20 years from now, when we see that complete 180 from these companies. When we see a complete 180 from these organizations that are given the green light.
That's a great point. We can't just trust anybody because they seem to be good. You have to look into these people. You have to look into what they're feeding us. You have to make sure you read your ingredients. Don't just look at the front of the bag and say, oh, that looks good, and take it home. See what they're putting in your food, because you can't just blindly trust these people. They've shown us time and time again that they can't be trusted.
You're absolutely right. They can't be trusted. A great example that I hate to say, look at the nutrition program for children in the United States. Look what the FDA constitutes as a nutritious meal for a developing child. And that'll tell you everything that you need to know. And I'm actually working on a video to help expose the truth on these programs and share my piece on it. So if you don't want to miss it, make sure to subscribe to the second channel, The Truth Network. The link will be tagged in the description below.
Yeah, guys, make sure you subscribe to the second channel, like I said earlier. Like Taco said, he's already working on this episode, and it ties in perfectly to this, because you wouldn't imagine what they're putting in our kids' food and how they get away with it, you know? The food we eat is what makes us. We cannot put just anything in our body. We have to protect our minds, bodies, and souls from being tainted. We need to consume the food that God put on this earth for us, not the food the elite are making in a lab.
Amen.
Like I always say, we must remember that every day we wake up, our souls are at stake. And we also must remember to help those who can't see the truth find the truth. Yes. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and all
right, you guys. Well, that was the end of that video. Yeah, I definitely wanted to do a reaction on this video, because just to know that this is what the elites is planning and actually making it into effect and doing, like, you know, I can't help but to be a vegetarian now. Again, I wouldn't go as far as with saying I'm a full-blown vegan, but if I do get meat, at this point, I'm going to the Amish market, or I am going to the butcher's market. And that's the only way I'm gonna eat meat. But to go to my local grocery store, such as Acme, for some of y'all is, you know, Publix down south, because I used to live down south. And then you got Fresh Grocer and ShopRite, you know what I'm saying? Like, those local grocery stores, I'm no longer getting meat or bacon or anything, because I really did the research for this. Like, I should have did another reaction video where it was just breaking down how they're doing it, and they're supposedly taking cells from the animal, and they take those same cells and put it in this big ass container, and the container is generalizing the meat. So it comes out as chicken if they get the cells from a chicken. It comes out as shrimp if they get the cells from a shrimp. It's just disgusting. I'm not eating that bullshit. Y'all got me fucked up. Like, y'all are really trying to kill us out here. It's just crazy, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, I would definitely become a vegetarian, or I will go get my meat from the Amish market. You want to go to the stores like Whole Foods Market or like the Farmers Market, those type of grocery stores, because I always used to wonder, why go to that when you can go to your local grocery store for meat? Now I see why. Okay, and it would not shock me if this has been going on before they publicly have told the world that they are now approving lab-grown meat to the USA. Like, that's really crazy. And it's also been proven that if you eat meat over in different countries, you're good, because there's no preservatives or steroids or anything within those meats. It's just meat from the actual animal. So if you go to a butcher's market, you better see a dead pig, a dead cow, a dead chicken, dead fish, and dead, you know, shrimp. Cause, hey, if it's not the real thing, I ain't gonna eat it. That is how I feel about it. But that's my opinion. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, show your girl some love, help your girl get to 3,000 subs. Make sure to leave some suggestions down in the comment section down below, and please give me a big thumbs up, for it helps to push my videos further out into the algorithm. I'm out this bitch. Deuces. We live in a world that's extremely so cruel. Hitting below the belt, man, that's not cool. My feelings is numb to the point where I got a fork and I'm just eating this sauce like it's food. Bitch, when I'm corny and ain't gonna be shit. Bitches is hoping I die when I'm sick. I might as well go to the sex store to buy me a strap on to wear, cause they all on my dick. Worry about me, what I just do. Worry about me and what I just said. The audience look at your life as a boo. A fake ass bitch snake when the real skin have shed.